How's it going, everybody? David Hedge here, House Hedge Gaming, and welcome to the GenCon 2024 recap. Now, as soon as I got back home from Indy, I had to get right back into the real world, and I had to get right back to work. I've been busy with my regular job, been busy with burgling, but during my downtime, I have gathered my thoughts on pros and cons from the event, and today I'm going to go over that with all of you. Shortly after this video, you will see the GenCon haul video of all the games I picked up, some of the games that Joey picked up, and then after that video, there's going to be a bit of a lull on the channel. And the reason why is that fall and winter for me is a busy season of burgling. Between the Radar Dogs hockey season, Broadway shows, concerts, you name it, it's going to be happening at burgling. Plus, on top of that is my regular job, and there'll be a lot of days where I'll be working about 14 to 16 hours a day. And with that being said, I'm not going to have enough time to really do many videos. I'm still going to try and do at least 2 a month, whether it be an unboxing, a learn to play, playthroughs, not only solo, but with friends as well. And hopefully you'll join me for all those. If I could do bonus videos, I will have them on Facebook. I'll make sure to post there. I'll post in the community forums here. But also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it and let everybody know there's a lot of stuff getting ready to happen for House Hedge Gaming. And I'll do my best to make it as entertaining as possible, because some of the videos may be a little bit long because of the playthroughs, but I will make my absolute best effort to make them entertaining. So at least you can see how bad I lose, and I'll still have fun with it. But before I get into the recap, one other thing I wanted to do was to thank everybody. During GenCon, I met some amazing people, and I got to shake hands, I got to bump fists, I got to hug people. I even had somebody bow down. Xander from the UK. Met them at the tail end of the opening ceremonies, and it was awesome to meet him. He came up to me, and he was looking at my badge and everything. He was like, House Hedge Gaming. And then he started bowing down, and my wife and our friends just got the biggest kick out of that. And that was my first real interaction with anybody who's seen the channel, and that just set the tone for the whole week, and it was just a fantastic time. And I wanted to take a moment to thank everybody who just stopped and said hi. You took time out of your Gen Con to say hi to me, and I appreciate that a whole lot, and it meant the world to me, and I thank you for that. And I got to have a few people sign cards in my Merry and Pippin deck. I didn't get the whole thing filled out, but maybe next year. But we'll see what happens. But I want to make sure I said that. But now let's go into the recap of Gen Con. My thoughts of pros and cons from the best 4 days in gaming. So without any further ado, let's get started. All right, let's go over the cons and the pros of Gen Con 2024. I'm going to make this quick. I'm not going to harp on anything. I'm just going to say my thoughts real quick and pass on to the next one. First off, let's go ahead and get the cons taken care of. Food truck block party between Lucas Oil Stadium and ICC. Still crowded. Still not enough seating for everybody. Hopefully, once the original block party location gets taken care of as far as all the construction is going on, they can take some of those trucks and move them to that location and split the party into 2. I know you don't supposed to ever split the party, but this is one time you should. That way you can have access to all the trucks a little bit easier. You can even put a few more in the new block party location, and then that way you can have people in 2 different places go to their trucks that they want to go to and give them more options and spread it out to where everybody's not completely crammed on top of each other. So hopefully next year, if construction's done at the original block party location, they can move trucks there and have 2 locations to make it a little bit easier for people to find food during their meal times that they want to try and cram in before they go to their next event. Next up, Wizard of the Coast made their return at Gen Con. They did a really great job hyping up the 50th anniversary of D&D, had the mini museum so you can see all the progression of how products have changed over the years, but they did not have anything to celebrate Magic the Gathering's 30th from last year. That was a missed opportunity in my eyes last year. They should have had something there, but unfortunately they didn't. And I thought they were going to bring something from Magic Con to Gen Con as a little teaser. So if people want to go to Magic Con, you can go, hey, if you like this, go here for this Magic Con. You can go to Las Vegas in October. But they didn't do anything like that, and I was hoping Wizards would have done it. They put a really good foot forward back in the Gen Con. I wish they would have done a little bit more and celebrated Magic's 30th anniversary from last year. Go, hey, sorry we're late, but Here's Watley and a dinosaur. Check it out. I wish they would have done it, but unfortunately they didn't. But you know what? They still did a good job getting back in the Gen Con, and I'm definitely happy for that. Pastime Games was doing all the Magic stuff this year, like they always do. And I tried to get in the side events early morning on Saturday, but unfortunately, no side events were available until after 10 a.m. And for somebody like me, I already had other things planned out, so I couldn't do any other side events within that time. So early morning was my best shot. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get in there. And I still got a chance to play some Commander games, met some great people, but I was hoping to get into a few of the side event ones and see if I can get some cool prizes. But it is what it is. I just hope next year, while they're adjusting more to getting a regular type schedule being normalized, they can start doing round-the-clock gaming again and be able to do side events, start them early in the morning to where people can jump into a side event and be ready to go to their next event like 10:30, 11 o'clock. You got a few hours to kill, do a side event for Magic if you want to, if you had that option. But unfortunately, that wasn't an option this year. Next, Gate 10 parking. There was the parking lot right behind Lucas Oil Stadium. It got taken over by Horseshoe Parking, and they weren't ready for us. They weren't ready for Gen Con. They only had one 20-seater shuttle going from that lot to the convention center, and it was inconsistent in when it was coming back. A lot of people in that lot had to walk from point A to point B, and some of those days it was very hot. There was also days where it was pouring down rain, and it wasn't the best of circumstances. Hopefully next year, Horseshoe Parking can get their ducks in a row and be like Gate 10 and have the shuttles going around the clock, keeping everything rolling and making sure everybody gets there nice and safely and cool and everything. But hopefully they'll be ready for it next year. Next up, after coming back from Gen Con, a lot of people are talking about how some of the GMs and DMs and demoers at different booths at Gen Con were unprepared. Unfortunately, there are going to be cases where people are trying to teach a game, but they have not had adequate time to review the game themselves. And I know that sometimes there will be last-minute substitutions because that happened a lot this year. And if you're going to substitute and if you're going to get in there and help out the demo games, make sure you know what's going on. At least have a good basics of the game and bring enthusiasm to it because you're there as a demoer, as a GM, as a DM to sell the game. You're there to get people hyped up for the game. You are that game's hype man. You're that game's wingman. And if you don't bring that hype, if you don't bring the knowledge of that game to help people understand what's going on, it's not going to be a good experience for them, and probably you won't have a good experience either. So if you plan on doing demos, if you plan on running games, make sure you do your research, make sure you have everything down pat, and if you just have the basics, and if something weird comes up, you can always refer to the rules book and go like, well, that's a different one, and you can refer to the rules book and go, hey, we learned this together. So hopefully there won't be as many cancellations next year for staffing for a lot of these games, and if there is, the people that they get can take the time to learn the game so they can be ready to show them to all of us. Alright, that's the cons. Let's go for the pros. First off, the attendees and the cosplayers. You guys are awesome. The attendees and cosplayers, I'm lumping them together for one reason: awesomeness. The attendees, they always, no matter who you are, if you're a first-time attendee or a long-time Gen Con patron, you take the time to be able to talk to other people. I can't tell you how many times I had people talk to me, whether they knew me or not, just talking about different things, like going back and forth, going like, do you know if this is here or this is here? And they'll be like, hey, come on, let's find out. And like you start talking about different things and all. But also for new players coming in, new attendees that are a little bit nervous, they get greeted by everybody and they get to talk to people and share their love and their passion of this great hobby of ours of gaming, and it starts breaking the ice a lot, which is really cool. And that happened with our family, Hani and Jenny. They were able to meet a lot of amazing people and get to talk to them and had a great time. The cosplayers did an amazing job hitting it out of the park with all the cosplays this year. Cindy, Hani, and Jen were breaking some of the characters, which was great. But one thing I want to talk about is the unsung hero, that is the cosplay clerics. So Hani had a wristband, and they were trying to cut the wristband off from Lollapalooza on Friday. They couldn't do it. The thing was like industrial grade. We didn't have a jackhammer, couldn't take care of it. But Cindy found a QR code to go to a Discord discussion for the cosplay clerics. So she was able to summon, and I just hit the microphone. Dang, sorry about that. So she was able to summon the cosplay cleric to their location, and they brought out a little creme brulee blowtorch. They brought out knives, they brought out needles and everything, and they were able to remove the wristband, which was pretty cool. And for anybody that does that stuff for cosplay repairs and everything, you are one of the many unsung heroes of Gen Con and conventions in general, being able to take your time to do that and aid others during their times of need when their cosplay does not go quite right, or something happens, or a malfunction or anything like that. So to all of you, thank you for everything you do. You're amazing. But everybody, just 60, 70,000 plus gamers getting together. We're all one big family. And this kind of stuff just goes to prove it. And that's the reason why I love going to Gen Con every year. Another pro, TCGs are going up. There are so many different trading card games out there now that it's a little hard to find some that can catch you and hold your imagination. But there's several that I picked up, and I'll definitely do reviews on them later, that are really cool, and they have great mechanics behind them, excellent artwork behind them, and everything, and I can't wait to show y'all. And if you're a TCG fan, this year you had a lot of options to see what trading card games you want to get into, whether it be an independent company getting their footing into the door, or getting their footing in the door. Yep, that's what I just said. Trying to get their foot in the door and get their footing under them so they can continue on with their game. And then you have people like Upper Deck that just recently announced Neopets. And there's so many different games out there. So if you're a trading card game player, you got a lot of options. You can definitely check them out. Next up, I'm going to go back to WotC. I did the con about them not promoting Magic. But the pros, the live events that they brought between Game Nights Live and D&D Live, fantastic. I attended Game Nights Live. I wish I could have attended D&D, but it was fine. I got to do Game Nights. When that video goes up, I'm going to promote it because that was so much fun to see them dress up as Bloomborough characters, and the gameplay was terrific. The venue was insane. It was the Indiana rooftop ballroom. It was definitely a fancy place. Like it was like a nice tuxedo when I was wearing pair of shoes. For a minute, I did not fit in, but they had milk and cookies. They had a good spread of foods and drinks and everything. They had mocktails that were creative for the different calamity beasts for Bloomborough, and it was just so much fun to do that. And so for WotC to help get them there and do the same thing for D&D Live, where they got the voice actors for Karlach and Astorian to play D&D in front of a good crowd, A+ on you guys. Like I said, you put your good foot forward. You could have went that little extra for Magic, but you know what? WotC, thank you for coming back to Gen Con and providing those experiences for all of us players. Finally, I want to talk about the vendors. Vendors this year, there were so many different ones. I got to see a lot of different people and first-time vendors. Got to talk to them and everything. And it was just amazing to see all their different backgrounds and where they're from. And whether it's a new board game, a new card game, just somebody who's coming in as an artist or an author, there's a lot of different fresh blood that's coming in. And unfortunately, there are people like Rio Grande Games that weren't able to make it this year. But you're getting all of this new crop of people, and it's very exciting to see it. Because, yeah, there's vendors that get grandfathered in. Not godfathered in. You come in the day of my gaming wedding. Nah, it's not that kind of thing. But you have a lot of vendors that have been at Gen Con for up to years, but now you're starting to get fresh blood in there, and you're starting to get new perspectives on gaming and new faces that you can familiarize yourself with and just have fun with them. And hopefully that trend continues. You keep your core people that have been mainstays for Gen Con, but at some point you got to start rotating some people out so you can get some new blood in there and freshen up Gen Con. And it was great to see that, and hopefully it continues on in the future. Alright, there you have it. That is a quick pros and cons, because there's been so many people that have already put out their thoughts about Gen Con. This is mine in a nutshell. I kept it under less than 15 minutes. A+ on me. Wasn't expecting to be able to do that. But So, all in all, Gen Con was a blast. I had a whole lot of fun. I always do. I got to meet some amazing people, pick up some tremendous games. I got to do a few things I haven't been able to do before, and hopefully I can continue on that trend for next year. So, after this video, like I said, Gen Con Hall videos coming up, and then there's going to be a break, but when I do have videos coming out, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, everything you want to do to interact with the videos that I posted, because there's a lot of stuff getting ready to happen on House Hedge Gaming, and hopefully you all will join me. But thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let everybody know that House Hedge Gaming is here for all of your gaming needs. So until next time, everyone, stay safe and take care, my friends.